Oh, I am jealous. It looks so good. Hello, it's Nick from No Time, Money or Skill. If you haven't been here before, I am a professional video producer. I go and make videos for brands and businesses who want to sell their stuff, and I go along with my little video camera and I make the videos for them. And over the years, I think I've learned how to make some really good looking and good sounding videos. And that's what I wanted to do today, is have a look at some of our favorite YouTube channels and have a look at how their content, how their style and how their videos have transformed and evolved over the years. There's something to be learned from the journey of any creator really, especially if they're now a successful content creator on YouTube. And I think we can take some of these lessons and implement them to make better videos for ourselves so that we can use video really effectively to grow our personal brand. If I said to you, lawyer and YouTube, would you think boring content, or successful YouTube channel with over 1.3 million subscribers? The channel is called LegalEagle and it's run and created, hosted by Devin Stone, who is a US-based lawyer. Now, the channel itself is just about giving people an inside look into the US legal system. It has amassed over 125 million views and got started back in, well, effectively July 2017. So in just a few years, he has grown an incredibly sized channel for a lawyer in a profession that I guess traditionally isn't too forthcoming in spreading awareness, in talking about law in general, in a public forum. It's a professional career, and I don't know too many other lawyers actually making a name for themselves on YouTube like Devin. So let's take a look at LegalEagle. When did he start to get a large number of followers? And really the first big bump I found was in 2018, July, August of 2018. He's gone from a rough number of, 300-400 subscribers to suddenly jumping to over 8,000 subscribers. So just keep that date in the back of your mind, because we're going to have a look and see if we can identify what shift there was, if any, around what has started to make his channel more popular. Because that's a really nice little bump. So we're going to have a look at a few videos now. We're going to have a look at Devin's oldest publicly available video. We're going to have a look at a video around that subscriber change in 2018 to see if there was a pivot in content. And we're going to look at how his videos look and sound like today. All right, so this first video is called The 3 Things I Wish I Had in Law School. Very traditional kind of video title. It does explain the content. It tells you what you're going to learn, right, by watching this video. And that tells me that this video is an educational piece. When was it posted? It was posted July 2017, has 144,000 views. Whether that's, obviously we don't know how many views have come from the, people have gone back as they've started to subscribe and go back through his old content. But I've got to say, if I was starting as a lawyer and my first video got 100 or over 100,000 views, I'd be pretty stoked. I wonder what our earliest videos have gotten on No Time, Money or Skill. Yeah, a little bit shy, I should be a lawyer. You get views, right, if you're a lawyer.
Today we're going to talk about 3 things that I wish I had when I went to law school, things which I still use today as a practicing attorney. So stick around.
Ooh, boom, boom. Very effective opener there. We need to help an audience understand very quickly why they should stick around, why they should invest their time with you or me right now. We've then gone straight into an animation. This is known as a bumper or an intro card, a title card, and it plays for a few seconds, a little bit of motion and animation, some sound.
Before we begin, a little background. This is a casebook.
And straight into, I love this guy already, straight into holding something, interacting with something. He's not just continued to talk to camera, he's picked up something and waving it around on camera. And that's a smart thing, and something you'll probably see continues in this video, is he's using props. It's great to be able to talk about something, but the more you can show something, the more effective a video can be.
And only include the most important material. In practice, that's not what they do.
40 seconds in, 45 seconds in, we've then gone to a visual that represents the thing that Devon is talking about. We call that an overlay, a cutaway, or B-roll. This helps add further context to the thing you're talking about, and again, presents an opportunity to introduce new visuals. It's something fresh for our eyes, so it's not this single monotonous piece to camera from start to end. The cutaway should always relate to the thing you're talking about, unless you're doing something for a gag. So if you're talking about, I don't know, drinking your cup of coffee in the morning and you were sad because you spilt it, then you probably should get ready to cry on camera over your spilt coffee. It's a really good way to reinforce the thing you're talking about and build that extra bit of visual attention throughout your video.
Which means you're paying hundreds of dollars for cases that are in the public domain and you can access for free. These things are heavy.
Okay.
As a result,
just before we went to the shot of the Amazon screen there, which is a screen capture and is again acting as another cutaway, we've got this very brief punch in. The punch in is simply as a crop in of the existing image. What that's doing is, number one, again, it's acting as an extra little visual marker because something has changed within the frame. Our eyes stay tuned into what is happening in front of us. I think another thing that could be happening is he's probably thought to add a bit more information, or he's wanted to pause for some reason, have a drink of water, or maybe he made a mistake and started again. So by adding this crop in, it looks like we've got a continuous point and articulation. It's a new sentence, which is absolutely fine, but he's finished the sentence, we've punched in, he started a new sentence. When you're building your video content, or you're trying to really build your personal brand and act as the authority, the less ums and ahs and filler words, the less mistakes we have in, the better, really. It's absolutely okay to have a few mistakes in. We're only natural and human. We want to show we're human, but by adding a punch in, you just get to keep everything nice and tight in the edit, keep things moving forward on a nice pace, and add that extra pop in and pop out instead of just having a normal jump cut where you've got exactly the same frame. You're talking in a jump cut when you don't punch in, and you still have a slight change in visual, but it's not as effective as a boom, I'm zoomed in a little bit now.
First thing that I wish I had in law school, and that's this. A beautiful,
another prop,
shiny
another
tablet.
prop.
Technology has progressed so far that so many of the tablets out there are great. It doesn't need to be an iPad.
Pause it there. We've got, again, another prop, something to show, something to wave about maniacally on front of camera. We've also got a text overlay. We've got something telling us, thing number one, a tablet for reading cases. So a text overlay, a call out, this is also known as. This helps us reinforce a point that you want to make, a point that you really want that viewer to take away at that exact point in time. It's quite short. You don't want your callouts to be these massive blocks of text, otherwise it's hard for people to take that one specific thing away from your point. It's also done quite simply. He's talking and then bing, it pops onto the screen. There's no fade in, fade out, there's no motion or animation to it. This is a very simple effect. It can be done in any video editor, but it's again an extra little visual add, right? But more importantly, it's adding that extra piece of context and takeaway point for someone to really pay attention to.
good printers. If you make the investment up front, if you don't already have those things when you start law school, you'll be glad that you...
I love when he doesn't have props. He's using his hands and gesticulating, and that's great. Okay, so we're at the end of the video. So pretty solid video, good delivery, good charisma. But I'm really interested to see how this video is actually filmed, because this is pretty standard lighting affair. So when you first start making your videos, you focus on lighting you, the subject, right? We often don't think about the environment we're filming in, because there are room lights and things that should be happening without the need for us to kind of alter or adapt or anything like that. And so I think you've got a very standard entry-level kind of lighting here. You've got, if you have a look in Devon's eyes, that's usually the giveaway for where a subject, you on camera, where your lighting is coming from. So you can see in Devon, you've got two what we call catch lights, two little eye lights, one bigger than the other. So we've got our key light, our main, most powerful light, coming from his left, so right of camera. And then you've got a slightly smaller or less intense light coming from camera left, his right. That's giving us a fairly even look. There's nothing that's really pulling him off the background, other than the fact that we have some color contrast here, which is actually quite good. You've got some bricks in the background, but they look quite bright, and I think they're being lit by that fill light, the less bright light that's lighting him. I think that's also kind of falling on the background a bit there. You've got this darker bookcase with darker case books. That's adding some color contrast there. If this was a plain wall, I think this would look like a pretty average video, but I think the fact that he's got something interesting behind him. He's also filming on an angle, so he's not filming square straight on the back of a wall. He's filming down an angle, and this is quite an effective way to film, because it just adds a little bit of visual interest to what it is we're filming. If it was a pure white wall, even on an angle, that would probably be less easy to see and not great. And I think that's it. It's pretty simple. Now I think the key light and lighting that he's got on himself at the minute, have a look at his tie. When we see shadows, that's a really, really effective way to identify how someone's lit themselves or their videos. You can actually see quite a well-defined shadow on the edge of his tie, and that tells me that his light was either fairly far away or a little bit smaller, like a small LED panel. Very solid effort. I don't see a hair light there. Audio. Where's his microphone? It sounds great, and yet I don't see a microphone. So there's a microphone hidden somewhere. He could be close enough to the camera that he's using an on-camera shotgun mic. Could have a shotgun set on a boom just out of frame, just above him perhaps, because he does sound quite close and like his voice is quite rich. Or he might have a lapel mic hidden behind his tie. I don't think that's the case though. Not 100%, but either way it sounds great. And I've got to say, I do like videos that you don't see mics in, because they look amateur, and but that's just personal taste. That's why my videos look so bad, just because there's this microphone, no other reason. You can clearly see by the content, by the titles, this is an educational channel. Education, 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 until we reach something completely different, and that is Real Lawyer versus Movie Lawyer. Lawyer reacts to A Few Good Men, 12 Angry Men, and Erin Brockovich. Have a look at the views, 2.7 million. So this was published on the 5th of July 2018. Now, recall in your minds that date range I asked you to remember. What was it? So just keep that date in the back of your mind. It was July, August 2018, wasn't it? Entertainment in general is something that is more accessible to a wider audience. It's a well that you should really try and mine, a well that you should draw upon as much as you can to sustain your viewer. It's okay to entertain and educate. That's a really good skill set to have. And I think this is what we're going to see in this video here. I can't believe how well this video did. It's a stroke of genius to make this pivot. Let's have a look.
Adult witnesses, Your Honor, are called specifically to refute testimony offered under direct examination.
So this is actually fairly accurate.
One thing I can see again when it comes to the lighting, actually now I'm staring at this, is that again, we've still got, I think he's got the same lighting even set up. I think you can see that harsher, defined shadow on his tie. So we're up here a little bit. We're a smaller light, I think. Not too far away. But we're quite even because we've got a bright light and a slightly less bright light. You also see a little bit more light on his hair, a little bit on the shoulders. I feel like this is just coming from the window outside, and we'll get into backlight a little bit as we see the evolution of his videos here. So where are we now? How good are his videos? So this is literally going to be the most recent video that LegalEagle has published on his channel.
Know if there are any limits on the presidential pardon power, or if there's anything that can be done to...
That is impressive. That is impressive. I couldn't do as good a job. Look how good this looks. So we'll get into the content, but I can't help but comment on the look of this video. Again, there's been an evolution of the quality, because his content has always been solid. He's clearly a charismatic person and knows how to deliver effectively and maintain an audience's attention throughout a video. What's great here is we've had really an evolution in the visuals of his content. So again, going back to a brand perspective, going back to what we would associate with a brand, what if I put this picture in front of you, how would you describe this person? And I think the set that we film in, whether it's your messy home office, or you actually design something that's a bit more specific, and I think this is what's happening here, it really does speak to the kind of brand you're building. And this is impressive. So how is Devon lit now? Well, we still have a key light, but he's got one key light, but notice that the other side of his face is still relatively well lit. It's not as bright. And if we have a look at the shadows on his tie, yeah, relatively sharp. But I think what's happening here is I think Devon has a massive softbox or a really big light, effectively a big light source lighting him, because you've got it wraps around your face. The bigger a light is, the more kind of around objects it can go, weirdly. And so that creates a bit more of a complementary look, but it doesn't obviously go the whole way around because it's closer on one side of the face than the other. This is where you get that slight variance, but it looks incredible. What else have we got happening? He's sitting in a single-use chair. He's not squashed on the edge of a couch anymore. He's got a purposeful and purposefully placed chair. That's his authority chair. He sits down. He is the lawyer. You listen to him. He's talking to us one-on-one. He's not squashed on the edge of a couch trying to give some value. That's a really cool look. Solid suit again, maintaining the bloody facial hair. That's awesome. We've also got our first look at what we call a backlight or a hair light. You can see this orange illumination on his hair, on his shoulders. That's pulling him off the background. which is a really effective way to get, again, people looking to where they should be. Just pops out that background because he's well lit and he's got some backlight or some edge light. Where is that? I think it's coming from, I think there's a light above him. I actually think there's a couple of lights above him. One is on that orange hair light. The other is, you can see that back textured wall, I think is lovely, whether that's wallpaper or some kind of backdrop. I think it's beautiful, but it's bright right behind his head and then goes into darkness. So I think there's another light up there. The one on his head is orange. The one on the wall is a little bit whiter, let's say, or a little bit cooler, as we call it. And I think that's giving that spotlight effect on that back wallpaper. He's got a practical light. A practical light is a real light, like this one. That is a practical light. Sometimes you can use them to light you, but a practical light means it's a real light. It's not a video light. You know, it's a floor lamp, it's a table lamp, etc. But we can see it on in the video frame. And what it can do is help illuminate certain elements. So you can see there's a slight little orange edge on the back of the couch there, the seat there. I think that could be coming from the practical, perhaps a little bit. You've got a little bit more warmth on this side of the screen because of that practical. That's really interesting. And then the bookshelf. Again, look at that color contrast. You've got blue, dark blue wallpaper, that kind of rich wood, accentuated by these orange lights. So you've got your 3 kind of shelves there. Behind those books, behind those case books, whatever they're called, you've got individual 3 little lights. I'm going to guess they're tiny, tiny little lights. Maybe RGB lights, maybe lights that can change color, that are just tucked in the back there. Similar brightness, similar intensities. And we have an incredible looking image. I'm seriously impressed. My God, I'm wetting myself over how good that looks. So you could probably tell from a content delivery standpoint, from the way LegalEagle is on camera, it hasn't changed too much. He's had that charisma at the start, and you know, that's because he is talking about content he has the right to talk about. He has the experience and the authority and the know-how to talk about the things he will talk about in these videos. But I think what's interesting is recognizing that shift in content type. That is one of the reasons clearly he's grown to be as big as he is. And whilst we don't see as much educational only content being made on his channel, because he's made it in the past and it's evergreen, it's still relevant and it's still relevant to a relative audience. It means that you can keep throwing people back to those videos time and time again. And these entertaining current affair type videos are going to continue to pull in more and more people. It'll be just interesting to see in another year where his channel is at. 1.3 million. Definitely should have become a lawyer, because that is phenomenal, phenomenal work. What did you think of LegalEagle's videos? Have you ever watched him before? Are you considering subscribing? Why or why not? Let me know with a comment below. If you'd be interested to see me break down the content videos and lighting of other YouTube channel videos, then let me know with a comment who you would like to understand how they make their videos, and we'll break them down together and we'll have a look at, again, how they've evolved over time and become the creators they are currently. I'm Nick from No Time, Money or Skill. If you are interested in learning how to make videos that look like this, that look really, really good, then make sure to grab our PDF download. It's completely free. Head on along to the link down in the description below. And other than that, I've got to up my game because this looks phenomenal. So I will see you guys in the next video.